Hi everyone, this is Anya, and I wanted to hop on here with this unexpected episode because um, I watched one movie and it totally I just have to describe to you what I felt and how I felt because it's just amazing. Okay, so I watched K-pop Demon Hunters. I believe most of you probably have seen it. If not, don't worry, there are not gonna be like too many spoilers in this. But I just have to get this out of my head because this is insane. Like, when I first watched the movie, I felt quite how to say that. I felt drawn to Rumi, to the main character, one of the main characters, um, one of the members from Huntrix. And at first, I was just thinking, like, why? There was something in her which felt kind of familiar, and I didn't know how and why. So it took me few it took me some time when I was like rewatching the movie all over because it became my comfort movie. And I think it's not just because I felt like related to the movie, but also like all the visuals, all the characters, just music, amazing. Like, imagine that music from virtual groups is ranking higher on the charts than from actual groups. Like, this is just insane. And I'm still waiting for Netflix to upload the pictures, the profile pictures. I need K-pop Demon Hunters profile pictures, please. I need that, please. Netflix, please do it. Okay, but let's come back to the story. So I keep rewatching the movie because, as I mentioned, it's my comfort movie, and like when I want to watch something, but I don't have enough capacity to like start something completely new, or I don't know what to watch. This is the time for my comfort movies and comfort series. For comfort series, I have Boys Over Flowers as one of them. Dream High, also Dream High 1, Dream High 2. Those are series which those are dramas which I've watched like hundreds of times probably because I keep rewatching them so much since the year that I discovered them, which for Boys Over Flowers was like 2009 or 10, and for Dream High was like 2012 maybe. And since then I just keep rewatching them. Once in a while I just watch them because like I'm just feeling it. I want to watch my comfort drama, and K-pop Demon Hunters became instantly my comfort movie. It's not too long. It's like 1.5 hours, but it does wonders. Like, the more I watch it, I can never get tired of it. Like, the more I watch it, I still notice these small details which I didn't see before, and also I can relate even more and more to Rumi, to the main character, and I'm gonna tell you why in a bit. Um, so, for those of you who watched the movie, you will know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna try to not spoil too much because, like, if there's somebody who still haven't watched it, I just don't want to ruin that for you. So I'm gonna try my best. So, when I watched the movie for like 10th time, it somehow suddenly clicked in my head, and I realized why I was so drawn to Rumi all the time, why I could relate to her so much, and it's because of the past me 8 years ago. I'm gonna describe to you what she was like so you can imagine, because it's quite a distant past now, and from like listening to my podcast and what I'm talking about now and what I'm dealing with, I'm totally a different person. And if she saw me now, she'll probably not know who I am. But 8 years ago, me was this girl who was surrounded by some people whom she considered her friends. And later, of course, I found out that they were not friends, but at the time, like, this was the best I knew. Like, I didn't know any better. I just felt like those were the friends. And um, as I was spending time around them, like, at first everything was fine, but then they started to how to say that, they started to like tell me more and more that I was so negative, and that like I should do something about my negativity. And back then, at that time, I was kind of suffering during my university years, and I think it was also the year where I was trying to like learn how to drive. So I was taking driving school on top of trying to finish my university, on top of working in the library, on top of like all other things you can imagine. So I was just going crazy. Looking back, I don't know how I did that. Like, if I was supposed to do that now, I would not. Like, it was super stressful, super crazy. I really don't know how I was able to manage that. But looking back to this girl, as I just told you, she was struggling. She got friends around her who were telling her that she was so negative, and that she was complaining too much. And of course, like, I know that venting it to friends is fine, but of course I understand that if somebody is like venting too much and then like not doing anything about the problem, they get tired. So I totally understand why they were telling me that I was like so negative. And I was trying to find some ways how to like bring positivity into my life. And I remember that I found out about this, how is it called? Jar of happiness, I guess. And this jar is made to like brighten your bad days. So during the good days, you would sometimes just write something you're thankful for, some like nice memory, when you went out with a friend, or you got some really great coffee, or just something you were thankful for and what was like the highlight of your day. You would write it down on a small piece of paper and then just put it in the jar. And then when you get a bad day, you would open the jar and you would read through all those things and like nice memories and things that you loved and places you've been, just all the amazing stuff in your life. And it would help you to just get through the day, meaning that it was supposed to like remind me that even though today is not really the best day, but still it doesn't mean that my whole life is not good, because I still have like these nice memories and places I've been to, people I've met. And in the beginning, really, it was working like that for me. But then all those friends started to tell me that I should write more because they feel like I'm still negative. And there was a point where it somehow shifted and I started to write more because I didn't want to be negative. And as I was writing more, I was actually getting like almost like getting addicted to write more, to just find something positive, even if I didn't feel like the day was the best, but just find something. I was feeling bad if I was not writing and putting stuff in the jar. My friend then started doing it too, and she was kind of like pushing me to compete who has more. And at that time, I was in a different place. I didn't know that the only version the only person I should compare myself with is like the past version of myself. So I was obviously like comparing myself to the friends, and then I felt like I'm not good enough, I'm not positive enough, and that was pushing me to write even more, even when I was not feeling it. And then it somehow became a toxic positivity. I was just trying to do everything to be positive, to write those things on a paper, even though they lost their meaning because it was meant to do something totally different. It was not here to just overlook and ignore like the bad days and all these bad emotions. Well, quote unquote bad. No emotions are bad, but those emotions that were not pleasant, and I was just trying to ignore them. I was just trying to like bottle them inside me and just never get to them, and instead I was just focusing on this happiness. I was writing all those things on the papers, and I was writing more and more and more, and I would feel bad if I didn't write anything because I felt like I was not grateful enough, and the jar was getting more full. But then I would just, even on the days when I was not feeling it, I would still, instead of just going and reading all those, I would just write more. I would just force myself. I would just write even like, I got coffee today. Or just some like basic things, which of course are not like, I can't take them for granted, but it's like what the smallest things which are like my normal now. So at that time I was writing even those. I would write like everything just to write something, and it got to the point where as I was like concentrating on the good things and good things and good things, it got to the point where I would just get overpowered and totally overwhelmed by all those emotions which I was pushing down, which I was ignoring, and I got the worst ever panic attack of all times. Like, it was so crazy. I was just sitting on my bed. I think I was getting ready to like go to school or something. I was just sitting on my bed, shaking, crying. I was feeling cold and hot at the same time. I was not able to move. My brain was yelling at me that like, you have to get up, you have to do this, you have to like feed the cat, feed the dog, go catch the bus, take a shower, whatever, just like all the things that I was supposed to do. My brain was yelling at me that I should do all those things. Meanwhile, my body was just frozen, sitting there on a bed, not being able to move. And the more I was like trying to move, I really couldn't control my body. I was just frozen, totally frozen. And I was not able to do anything. And then my brain was yelling at me even more that I'm a little piece of shit which cannot do anything, and like I'm worthless and stuff like that. And it was really bad. And one of those moments actually made me realize that I need help. And before, whenever, like even people around me, they were telling me, you need help, go to therapy, just don't be in this yourself, you should seek help. And I was like, oh, whatever, like I'm not really, like, I don't need that, you're overreacting, I'm not like that. I was in this denial. And then finally, after I accepted that, I started changing. And then my therapist told me that when you're down, you can go only up. It's normal to have bad days. It doesn't mean that, like, if you have a bad day, it doesn't mean that you have a bad life. And again, as I said, once you are down, you can go only up. So then it started changing, and like, yes, I would still get panic attacks out of like sometimes, but it was mostly caused by stress after that, like, because on the therapy I tried to kind of like get to those emotions, and I was trying to get to know them more, because I believed that the more you know about your enemy, the less strong the enemy is. Of course, like now I know that my emotions are just part of me and they're not any enemy, but back then, as I said, I didn't know better. I was not even into like shadow work or anything. It was just the version of me which I'm not really proud of, but well, I am, but I'm not at the same time, because like I am, because she was able to go through all that crazy shit regarding like my school and work and everything. But at the same time, I'm like, girl, this is not how you function with emotions. But like, she was trying the best she could, and now I know better. And still, Yeah, it was just it was just totally like difficult time back then, because as I started going to therapy, as I started like talking about all those problems, of course, like those emotions were just going to the surface, because as I started like uncovering everything, they started just flooding me. So I was just feeling like totally flooded and stuck at the same time. And then, thanks to my therapist, who helped me organize my time when I was like having those crazy panic attacks from stress, I was actually able to finish the school. I moved to Prague, and then I found, I think it was my friend who sent me one video from her favorite astrologer whom she was watching on YouTube, and it was Tony Michel. It was my favorite astrologer and my previous mentor. And with each one reading, I felt like so called out. I felt like she was watching me. I felt like there were cameras everywhere in my room, and she was just watching me, and then she was like telling me what I did. So it was difficult, but as I felt called out, it like made me want to change something. And then I started to do shadow work, and I just started to like go through all those hidden emotions and all those places that were triggering me and which were just like hidden there because I bottled them there in the past, and I just went through them. I experienced that, like I lived those emotions, I just felt them, and then I let them be. And then with this, I started changing. And suddenly, all those people who used to be my friends back then, they couldn't stand me. They couldn't stand me because I was not afraid to speak up. I was just working on myself, and I was triggering them. I was mirroring onto them what they were actually not able to do. And I don't keep in touch with anybody from that time. All of them are just gone, and I mean like gone from my life, not like gone in real, but all of them are gone from my life. And maybe there's like one person who returned after some time, but she actually did some work on herself and she tried to like improve and change. So with her, it's a totally different story. But yeah, with most of the people, I don't even keep in touch. They're just strangers to me now. And looking back to like who I was before and who I am now, this like I just totally shifted. Like all like the acceptance and everything what I have now, like of my emotions. Whenever there's emotion, I just feel it. I don't try to like overpower it. I don't try to hide it. I just like I am with this emotion. I sit with that emotion. I feel it, and then I let it go, and that's fine. And I feel way better. And like coming back to K-pop Demon Hunters, now you can see why I was actually like so related to Rumi and so like called to her, and I felt so like, how to say that, what's the word that I need. I'm a big deal, but my English is not Englishing now. But I said it in the past in this podcast. You know what I mean. It's just like connected is the word. I feel so connected to Rumi, and now I'm gonna have a bit of spoilers. I hope all of you watched it, but like I feel like almost everybody watched it now. So, she was also like that. She was also hiding like the shadow part of her patterns, and as like the more she was hiding them and like trying to get rid of them and just ignore them, the more they grew. And it's a similar way with my emotions back then. Like the more I was trying to hide them, just put them away, they're not here, they don't exist, that was making them grow and grow and grow until they erupted. And in the movie also, Rumi just got totally like consumed by that at one point. Before, Like she was even in denial before, and like then she got to this, then she got like overpowered with all those emotions and like all those things, like with the patterns and shame and everything, and then she accepted it. And that's basically why I felt so like drawn to her, because I was the same. I was also just ignoring all the emotions. I was in denial. I like my people around me were telling me I didn't want to hear it. Then I somehow managed to, then I got crushed by that, and then I somehow managed to just accept it. And it took a long time. It took me like 8 years to get where I am right now, but the acceptance and everything, like the work on myself, it does wonders. And yeah, so this is my story, and this is why Rumi is a character I really can relate to so much. And I hope I didn't make too many spoilers to all of you who didn't watch. I tried really like not to spoil too much. But I had to like say a bit so that you could know what I'm talking about. And yeah, so this is what I wanted to talk about today. Let me know in the comments if you love K-pop Demon Hunters, if you watched it, what do you think about it, what do you think about my story, and let's see you some other time. Until next time, bye bye.